here, but if we could have the St Albans, the Shirley Papanui Community Board. I have a feeling that this is going to take longer than we have available to us, so yeah, I'm just what I'm concerned about. I'm happy for somebody else to take over chairing the meeting, but I mean the issue is that three of us have to leave to go to a lunch, and
shouldn't take too long.
Okay, so we'll fire away.
Thank you. So the first item is item 18, the St Albans Working Party Terms of Reference. So the Community Board approved those terms of reference, and we're just asking the Council, obviously, to delegate the authority to the Community Board to...
Okay, moved by Pauline, seconded by Ali. I'll put the motion. All those in favour say aye. Those opposed say no. That's carried. That was good. Northern Transport Options.
So this obviously came about with the concerns we have with obviously the congestion in our communities, especially in Belfast, and the way they're obviously going to try and reduce that congestion by putting in roading. There's concern that obviously this was a little bit, I guess, narrow-minded with the future in mind, and the Community Board wanting to look at rail as an option for the future, and where we sort of see things going is sort of not really along that line. Now, obviously, there's a lot of different partners involved with this process, and from where we see these partners sort of have a different priority than what we believe it should be, and there seems to be more of a focus on roading options, where the Community Board believe we need to really truly look at rail as a really good option to move forward with. Obviously we have heavy rail tracks already in place, and we think the Council should prioritise looking at this as a really good option, if not for the long term, especially in the medium and short term as well. Obviously, you know, if you're building a city, you would want a really good light rail system. I think we had that opportunity, and it's slipping away as we do rebuild our city. But it's never too late to actually make this work and make it work properly. So we need to make sure that we look at all the options. And I just feel that we're trying to avoid this conversation of heavy rail. And I think it's important that we don't, and we actually accept the challenge and lead the Council to lead it.
Well, this is the one that could take a lot of time, because the issue is that this has been on the agenda for the UDS for a while. It was actually brought forward to look at it as a temporary solution, and as a temporary solution, financially it's not viable, because there aren't enough people catching the train going to the same place. The trouble is that until people are coming back to the same place, and you've got a connecting point, then it doesn't make financial sense. But we do need to investigate it. But we don't need to pay the cost of that. It needs to be a shared arrangement. And in terms of the cost of putting this on the Council at this time, while we're doing so many other things in terms of our annual plan and our long-term plan, we'd have to put it in the annual plan as a separate item in terms of financing the research that needs to be done to support a business case. It's not just as simple as using the lines that are there. No, it needs to go through an annual plan process, or it needs to go through the UDS. And the UDS refresh is happening at the moment. I'm sorry, but it's not our decision alone.
But staff are actually wanting to work on a total integrated public transport system and want to include rail in that. So, and that will be part of an annual plan.
They would prefer that we initiated a business case process for a future public transport study with strategic partners, and to be integrated with the UDS refresh is what staff would prefer.
Strategic partners, because of who they are and what they do with land and with road, they are not supportive and not helpful with this and moving it forward.
No, they turned it down because it doesn't make financial sense on a temporary basis.
With respect,
this is why I knew that this would take too long.
The ECAN report looks at a short-term...
Can we put this later on the agenda?
Yes, but I have to take issue with using the ECAN report as the measure for what is actually feasible and what's not, because there are problems with that ECAN report.
So it wasn't an ECAN report, it was a UDS report.
It was a report that was commissioned by ECAN.
It was a report committed by the UDS, with respect. ECAN is a member of the UDS. So, and sometimes people get, this is why I don't want to have a long debate about it.
Sorry, it's a really important issue for Shirley Papanui.
We want the council to lead this because our partners are not interested.
That isn't accurate. I mean, it isn't accurate that they're not interested.
Well,
the question is that we ask them to look at it for a temporary solution. It doesn't make financial sense for a temporary solution.
That report is questionable, and there are challenges that have been made over some of the figures in that report.
Can I suggest that we have an informal discussion on it, because it could take a long time.
Yeah.
And there's maybe some background information that could be useful to inform the decision, particularly around the things that are happening with UDS. CDC was supposed to do a light rail investigation.
Look, the thing is that, I mean, in terms of making a decision on where this goes to next, I mean, you've made it clear, Mike, what the community board are after, and I think that we just need to, we'll put this later on the agenda, and we'll work up some wording that we will consider as a council.
Okay.
Is that all right?
Yeah, I think it's, for myself personally, we do need to make sure that our vision does work for the future, so how we're going to get people in from the north to ease that congestion. To me, when I look at these things, it just seems to be leaning away from rail. Now, I don't know, I'm not an engineer, so I don't know if that is the number one answer, but to me, when I look at the partners involved, they all seem to lean the other way, and I just sometimes think that maybe the transport hierarchy is not the same as what it should be from our side, and it'd be just good to see that, I guess, we take a real good stance in this position.
Yeah, okay. Phil?
Can I just comment? Look, Mike, I certainly admire the work that your board have done and asked for. However, for council, we need to consider rail as part of a future network, and what the ETI committee is working on is looking at rapid public transport. And so there is a way forward that council do that. So I think with suggestions from your board to come, when we look at this, to come to the Infrastructure, Transport and Environment Committee, that will be a way forward, so that the whole network of transport in Christchurch is considered, and this part of it is would certainly be taken into account.
Okay. So we'll defer this one. The proposed road names, would someone like to move the proposed road names? Ali, Pauline, I'll put that motion. All those in favour say aye. Those opposed say no. That's carried. Right to convey sewerage easement over reserve. The community board recommendation, I presume. Pauline moves, seconded Ali. I'll put that motion. All those in favour say aye. Those opposed say no. That's carried. And the last two, that the report be received on the two board meetings, moved by Ali, seconded Pauline, but Mike, that's an opportunity for you to say a few words.
Obviously time's running out and I've got to go as well. I was told I had to acknowledge our great councillors. So if I'm doing that, I'll also be acknowledge all the great staff we do have, Shirley Pap and the other board members. Shirley Pap's, I guess, quite a wide, diverse area, and we have areas in the red zone with Brooklands, and then we've got other places we don't really hear much from, who are obviously doing quite well, and we've got a lot of networks out there that do great work with all their volunteer staff to help the communities. We do hear quite a bit from certain areas which are struggling still, and there's some big concerns, obviously, with roading and community facilities that we do have, and we are working towards, I guess, rebuilding some of those facilities, and I think it's really important over the next 10 months before this term is out that we put some things in concrete that we know is going to be there for the future for our community groups. So I think there's some positive things happening. Next month we've got the Belfast skate park that's going to be opening up, so we're all looking forward to that. That's another good step forward. So things are progressing nicely. Never as fast as we'd like, but it is getting there.
Yep. Good. Look, thank you very much, and I'm sorry that things have got to a stage like that, and I think it was a desire to deal with the coastal hazards report at the same time that the submitters were here. So, thank you very much for your patience and consideration. I'll put the motion. All those in favour say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. That's carried. And